What's going on, everyone? It's Cowdy with Money Investing. How you guys doing? So what's happening? How you guys doing? What's up, Scott? Happy to have you on board. Good morning, good morning. So we're gonna talk about the markets here. Hopefully everything works out. I'm just testing out a new monitor today, so I will be looking on this side as well a little bit. So, alright, we got 6 people watching. Make sure that you guys drop a like. It really means the world to me. Can you guys hear me okay and see the screen without any issues? So let me know if you guys can do that. So let me know if you guys can see the screen without any issues, and if you guys can hear me as well, if there's no audio issues. There shouldn't be, but just let me know if you guys can see everything okay and hear me okay. I would really appreciate that. We can see you and hear you great. Fantastic. That's awesome. So Netflix is on a bit of a toll here. So let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. For Netflix, earnings came out yesterday, and they're seeing a little bit of a recovery here, but they are still down close to, I want to say, 8% from their highs yesterday. Still a pretty significant drop. I mean, Netflix has had a history of, dropping after the earnings come out. And I'm going to break that down very, very quickly, just so we have a really good understanding on what we're watching in terms of support resistance levels and, of course, the earnings itself, and what was the main driver behind the sell-off, right? So if I go over to the 4-hour chart, I mean, there's no surprises there that earnings has Netflix has seen these drops in the past, right? So you'll notice that this right here, when the earnings came out, coming back from October, we saw another drop of close to, I want to say, over 5.5% right here. And then in the past as well, you'll notice a very similar move coming in from like July, when Netflix was down, from highs close to over 18%. So 18% drop here, and then a rally close to 19%, and then very, very similar case over here. So drop in October after the earnings, close to 18.5%, and then we continue to rally, and then right now we're seeing another sell-off all the way down to the support of close to $506. So we're just perfectly sitting right at that support after the earnings, right? So we're gonna talk about the earnings very quickly, but the Nasdaq right now, as of the time of this video, is down a little bit over 33 basis points. That's the QQQ ETF, and then we've got the SPY down a little bit over 15 basis points as well, as of the time of this video. And let's take a look at some cryptos here. So Dogecoin is up over 62 basis points right now, trading as high as 31 cents. Of course, this is the story of the month, or like the last 6 months. This has been the story, right? And then Bitcoin should also be on this list somewhere. So Bitcoin is trading as high as 55,500. You're seeing a little bit of a pullback here, but still, I mean, we did see a plunge over the weekend. So Sunday it was down, I believe, over 10%. So that right there was a complete drop in Bitcoin from highs of, let's take a look. So highs of 64,900. Good morning, good morning. I appreciate your guys' support. So again, thank you so much for joining in. Make sure that you guys drop that like button. It really means the world to me. And I just got a new monitor, so I will be looking at over here, because I've got the chat and I've got everything else over here as well. And I kind of go over the earnings report on this screen, so you guys can see that as well. So good morning, Jason. What's going on? That's awesome. You have off today. That's great. Take this time to relax and enjoy. So yeah, Bitcoin just having a little bit of a pullback here, and I'll go over the negative divergence that we were seeing in the price of Bitcoin. So let me actually go over to TradingView very quickly. So we're gonna go over here, and I'm gonna go over to Bitcoin. By the way, how many of you guys are actually trading or investing in Dogecoin? I would love to know that. So let me know in the comment. Let me know in the live chat. What do you guys think about that? So this right here is the daily chart for Bitcoin, right? So I'm going to actually go ahead and remove the VBOPs. And if I bring out the RSI, it's very easy for us to understand what's going on here, right? So you'll notice that this right here is the higher highs that we consistently are making. So we are pushing higher. So obviously we're going higher than we did the previous time, and even over here a little bit of a higher high. But if you look at the RSI, the relative strength index, this right here is the drop, right? Or so to speak, the lower highs that we're making, right? So we're not going as high as we did the previous time. So that right there is a negative divergence. And right now we're just hanging on to the 57,000 mark. Let me actually go ahead and pick a different one because I don't think this is the right one. All right, I'm gonna go to the crypto watch list. All right, there we go. So this right here is gonna be the one. And you'll notice that we are seeing a little bit of a divergence here. So higher highs, lower highs with the RSI. Ken, what do you mean? What's up with the daily videos? Just curious about that. So again, thank you so much for joining in. Good morning, everyone today. All right. Setting some limit buys for those critical levels. That's good. Yeah, I mean with cryptos, you know, unless you have a long-term conviction in Bitcoin, if you're just trading it for the short term, make sure that you have your entry exit plans set up prior to taking those trades. And I also mentioned it in our Discord, meaning that always have stop losses, always have limit buys, whatever the case is, always have an entry and exit plan for those specific stocks, especially in this market, because we are going through some type of a sector displacement that we talked about. And I'll kind of break down this chart as well. That basically goes over, and this one that goes over exactly where the money's flowing to, right? It gives us a really good understanding on what people are buying in terms of which sectors, which stocks people are actually flowing money into, and that's why things get volatile, right? Things get out of hand, and that's why it's so important to have your entries, exits, stop losses in place so that you're not down over 60, 70, 80% on any play or any stock that you're investing in, and recovery from those is very difficult. Trust me, like I've personally been there, been down like 85, 90% in some plays, and I've learned the lesson the hard way, and it's almost very difficult to see that recovery back, right? So all right, we're gonna quickly go over to Netflix. So this right here is going to be the report that we're gonna break down. So by the way, let me ask you guys first, what did you guys think about Netflix's earnings? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Does it make you more bullish? Does it make you more bearish on the stock? I wanna get a feel for how you guys think about it. So let me know in the live chat. All right, it was okay. So revenue actually grew for them 24% year over year, and was in line with our beginning quarter forecast. Operating profit margin reached all-time highs. So that in itself, in my opinion, is a strong start, right? And I know Wall Street and investors like to put a lot of emphasis on, the subscriber growth, and with these tech earnings, the expectations are always sky high. That even if they miss by a little bit, these stocks, especially FANG stocks, always end up getting hit the hardest, right? And this is something that we talked about in our daily market update. I mentioned on Netflix, be very careful because those year-over-year comps are not going to be as great as what we have seen in the past, right? So they finished with 208 million paid subscribers or memberships, up 14% year over year, but below our guidance forecast of 210 million paid memberships, right? So the revenue came in just a little bit over 7.1 billion. The Q2 2021 forecast is 7.3 billion. That's going to be an 18% jump year over year. This right here was a 24% growth year over year. Net income was just over 1.7 billion, coming in from 7 billion. So that's pretty substantial. That's over a 100% increase year over year for the net income, right? So when you look at the actuals versus forecasted, 6 million was the forecast for the global paid net additions, and they came in just a little bit short at 4 million. But one of the charts that I really want to go over is this one. And this basically goes over how in 2020, Netflix had a substantial spike, right, in the number of weekly global paid net additions year to date. And you'll notice that, of course, because of the pandemic, they saw a significant spike in 2020, and then they kind of stabilized a little bit, and they are still growing at a consistent rate, right? Just a little bit over 36, 37 million right now. So that really goes to show that what's going on? Doing well. Yeah, just working around the clock. You're right. Just doing a lot of different things. My dad is the CEO of Netflix. That's great. So revenue beat, EPS beat, already expected diminished subs, overreaction. Steven, I couldn't agree more, and that's where I was going because, 2020 they added over 37 million subscribers, more than what they were expecting. And their Q2 2021 forecast is very, very low, right? So you'll notice how they're only expecting to grow, 4 or 5 million. And that's normal. Like, you can't expect a company to just grew over 37 million in 2020 to beat that number and grow over 40, 50, 60 million. So the subscriber growth, I feel like is okay, is very normal. But one of the things that I really wanted to go over is the content creation, right? So, and you'll notice that, competition-wise, there were talks about how their growth is slowing down because of Disney Plus, because of Amazon Prime, because of competition. But if you look at some of the countries that their competition isn't really there, like Disney Plus and HBO and Amazon Prime and all those companies are not even in those regions, and Netflix still had some type of a decelerating growth. That just goes to show that it wasn't because of competition, it was simply because they had such a strong year in 2020 and they're just seeing some decelerating growth moving forward, which is completely normal. Like I mentioned in our Discord today, that Netflix is still a very sticky business, right? As long as they're continuing to grow on those net additions, they're going to be completely fine. So $3.75 EPS versus 297, 7.16 billion revenue versus 7.13. Of course, global paid net subscriber additions we just looked at just came in shy of 4 million versus 6.2 million that was the expected. And I think they also go over the production cycle and the content that they have been ramping up in the second half of 2021 as expected. Yeah, so as we've noted previously, the production delays from the pandemic will lead to a 2021 slate that is more heavily second half weighted with a large number of returning franchises. So that's another thing, right? They're planning to actually spend, Netflix has said that it expects to spend more than $17 million in cash on content this year. So that is a pretty significant amount, and that's only because first half of 2021 has been very, very slow in terms of content creation because of the production delays with the pandemic, and they're going to be ramping up things in the second half of 2021 to compete. And of course, there's some really popular shows like The Office. Like I used to watch that on Netflix all the time, and they basically had to, they were not able to renew that, and it went away, right? So I'm assuming that was also one of the reasons why a lot of subscribers may have left for Netflix. But overall, I still believe that this is a strong report. This is like rinse and repeat for Netflix over and over again. Because we've seen this from Netflix many, many times. I mean, it's a volatile stock, right? It's a really volatile company as it is because it goes down like, 15, 20, 21%, and then it rallies back up. And it's been kind of range bound, right? So if I go over to the weekly chart here, you'll notice that it has been range bound inside this kind of like box, right? So we're trading still inside this rectangle, in this blue rectangle, and right now we're trading exactly at this level. So this right here is where we're trading right now, at close to $500. And in my opinion, this is a strong opportunity to get in. I might get in at around $505 per share to take advantage of this sell-off overreaction, because this is a still very sticky business. They're going to still generate a lot of cash in the future. The only thing that concerns me over the long term is the debt levels. Like they are continuing to go up. So if you go over to the financials here, you look at the balance sheet, you look at some of the cash versus debt, you'll notice that debt is sitting at over 18.5 billion, right? So that's as of Q4 2020, so this hasn't updated yet. So the debt levels are the only thing that kind of concerns me over the long term, because again, they're going to be spending over 17 billion this year on content that's going to add more to the debt pile. So they need to come out with more and more content to keep the retention of the existing subscribers and add the new subscribers to the list. But eventually we want them to be consistently cash flow positive in order for them to pay down some of the debt and not kind of dive in more into debt to finance or fund its operations, its day-to-day operations and content creation in the future. So that's the only cause for concern I have for Netflix, like in the long term, is kind of like debt and a little bit of competition in the future, because Disney also is expected to kind of take over Netflix over the long term. I'll cover Amazon, I'll cover Tesla, I'll cover a lot of different things in just a second. So yeah, I mean that's a bit of an overreaction in my opinion for Netflix. and that's kind of like my 2 cents on the company. All right, let's take a look at the markets here very quickly. We've got QQQ down a little bit over 40 basis points, and SPY is down over 15 basis points. Let's take a look at some of those stocks here. So let's go over to split our screen 4 ways. So Apple, after this huge run up, still kind of holding about 132, still down over 40 basis points as of the time of this video. And this right here is going to be NEO, down over 1% right now. By the way, I did put out a video on NEO very recently. William Lee was interviewed at the Shanghai Auto Show. If you guys want to watch that video, he basically goes over NEO's deliveries, his outlook in 2021, the production, the global chip shortages, the supply issues. He addresses all of that in that interview. So Tesla, where is that trading? Down over 1%, down to $711. So yesterday's low, Tesla came down to 710, and the day before the low was 691. So $1 shy of the support that we talked about, right? So still kind of hovering around that support level. And in my opinion, let's take a look at Tesla here. So in my opinion, Tesla still is going to go into like some type of a range bound situation. So we're going to see a little bit of a consolidation here for Tesla. 690 is still going to be a very strong support. And now you'll notice that, as soon as we see a breakout over those moving averages, we came back down to back test that support, right? So you'll notice we pushed up. So that right there is going to be the push higher. So we broke out, and then we came back down to back test this moving average or this support, and now we're just consolidating sideways, right? So that's what I could expect from Tesla as well moving forward. And of course, the earnings, the big catalyst coming up. Let me take a look. So what are you guys excited about the most? And I want you guys to be very engaging with us, with me as well. So let me know. So Netflix announced. So we just covered that, right? So that was this one right here. Then we've got Intel reporting on Thursday. I think there's a few more companies. Snapchat is also reporting later this week, but we've got Intel. But this week, this calendar doesn't just do justice to all the companies that are reporting this week. But next week is the week. Like, we've got like so many things coming up. We've got like so many earnings. So we got like AMD, Microsoft, Starbucks. We got Google here, Tesla, ChargePoint are going to be 2 big ones on Monday. Then Tuesday, pretty much a lot of tech companies, including AMD, Starbucks. And then on Wednesday, we've got Facebook, Apple, ADP, eBay, Qualcomm. And then Thursday, we've got Amazon, Skyworks, and that's about it. That's pretty much all the companies that I'm personally interested in. And then on Tuesday, which is going to be May 4th, we've got Activision, Blizzard, and we've got Insight and Xilinx reporting. And then on Thursday, May 6th, we've got Moderna. Amazon and AMD. So Amazon next week is exciting for me. Let's take a look. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna go over a lot of different stocks here. So off topic, no rush, but thoughts on Amazon here at 33.25. I'm gonna hold below 33.25 to open. Martin, that's a great question. Let's take a look at Amazon. But again, earnings coming up, very exciting times next week. In terms of econ day, in terms of macros, there's not really much that we need to go over this week. I also mentioned it. There's not really a lot of things that are coming out. Jerome Powell's thankfully not speaking this week. And then other than that, I mean, cases. Like, I live in India and it's getting out of hand. Like, I can tell you guys, it's 300,000 cases per day to some extent, like on specific days, and it's just absolutely brutal here in India. So that's a bit of a concern here in the Asian markets. Like when you look at the markets in India, in Japan, but I'm not sure why that's flickering a little bit, but that's all right. All right, Tesla and AMD earnings excited about. Michael, thank you. I will stay safe. All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks here. So let's go over, and first of all, I want to quickly go over this chart as well, right? So this one is a select sector index, and this one is a specific that I've constructed for different stocks, different FANG stocks, different ETFs, different yields, sectors, precious metals. So I need your guys' help as well on this. All right, so we're gonna build this before the market opens. We've got about 10 minutes before the market's open. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna build specific sector or specific kind of like indices. So right now I've got cryptos, so Bitcoin and Ethereum all the way at the top in pink. Let me take a look at how many people we have watching. So we've got a little bit over 268 people, so that's awesome, right? So we can get help from a lot of people's. US 10-year yields, we got FANG stocks, we got SPY, QQQ, we got financials, XLF, and we've got precious metals and energy. What I want you guys is to recommend stocks right now in the live chat for me to add a specific index to. So, you know, it could be SPACs, it could be a list of SPACs. So first we're gonna do SPACs. So I'm gonna do over here, and we're gonna do like 5 to 6. So just comment SPACs first, all right? That's what we're gonna do. 5 SPACs, that's all. All right, IPOE, we got 1. And we're gonna add the plus sign, GHVI, that's gonna be Matterport. Plugin MP, we're gonna add that to a small cap or a different sector. Not sure if those are actually SPACs. Coin is not a SPAC, CCIV is a SPAC, so we're gonna do that one. And then we're gonna add plus here, so I just need 2 more. All right, so we got CCIV, Matterport, GHVI, IPOE. We'll do EV stocks as well, definitely for that. Semiconductors, that's a great recommendation job. I'll definitely do that. ACIC, I think they're another electric vehicle. And CHPT, I think they should be in the electric vehicle. Roblox is a good one. No, Roblox is not a SPAC. It's a direct listing, right? I think it's a direct listing. I don't think it's a SPAC. All right, SPFR. I'm not sure what SPFR is. Let me take a quick look. SPFR, who are they acquiring? It's a 3. Alright, we can do VGAC because I did an analysis on them as well. Alright, let's try to hit enter. And this should be plotted. Alright, so we got all those stocks over here. It's perfect. So we got those stocks right here. So you guys will notice IPOE, GHVI, CCIV, ACIC, and VJAC. So we're going to change this color to, let's do red. And I'm pretty sure 3andMe, right? Is that the company name for VGAC? All right, anyway. So we got one of those index. Let's talk about EVs, right? What EV stocks are we going to add? So let me know in the live chat what EV stocks would you guys like me to add on this index. And then we're going to do some comparison, right? We're going to try to understand different time frames and where the money's been flowing to for these specific indices, right, that we're constructing. So we got NEO, we got CHPT, we got BYD. Nope, that's not it. So BYD, what is the ticker symbol for BYD? What is the ticker symbol for BYD? Does anybody know? All right, we're gonna add Tesla on here. We're gonna add XPEV, so that's gonna be XPeng. $1211. All right, let's take a look. All right, there it is. And we're gonna add FSR. I think it's Fisker. All right, so let's try and hit enter there. All right, so those are gonna be down here as well. So we've got, that is going to be over here. So we're gonna click on this and turn that into, let's say, white. All right, so I think I messed up a little bit. I'm gonna go back. All right, we're gonna do this again. NEO, Tesla, XPEV, $1211. Sorry, NEO, Tesla, XPeng, BYD. Then we had Fisker, and then we had ChargePoint. Alright, this should work now. That's weird. Alright, we'll kind of circle back to EVs here in just a second because I'm not sure why this is not showing up on the same scale. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so I don't know what I was doing there. So we're going to double click and we're going to change the color to, let's do like yellow on this one. And next we're going to do like small caps, right? So you guys were commenting like MP Materials, Plug Power, and NDM. So if those are the ones you want me to add, I'm going to quickly do that and then try to understand, you know, what has been moving up and what's not been moving up and where the money has been flowing to. I mean, for the most part, it's been Bitcoin, right? Cryptos have been outperforming the entire markets without a doubt. So some small cap stocks, if you guys want me to add another index on there, because this is what we are trying to build very, very quickly. So let me know in the live chat if there's any other stocks you'd like me to add on there. And then we can get started. Alright, so we got Canoe. Let's add Plug Power. Let's add NNDM. Let's add BNGO. So AMD is going to be more of a large cap stock. What's going on? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. All right, so a couple more. TSM. TSM again is going to be a little bit of large cap here. Let's just go with these ones. And MP Materials. Somebody mentioned it. Alright, so we got those on here as well. Let's take a look at them and then turn them in blue. Alright, so what we have here now is cryptos all the way at the top. Let me go ahead and point that out. So this is going to be the crypto index. More specifically, we've got Bitcoin and Ethereum there. We've got the yields up here. We've got energy and financials, these two. We got QQQ and precious metals, including gold and silver. We've got NEO, Tesla, Xpeng, BYD, Fisker, and ChargePoint in yellow. That's going to be this one. We've got some SPACs over here in red, IPOE, Matterport, TCIV, ACIC, and BJAC. And then we've got some small cap stocks over here. So it gives us a really good representation on what's been doing well and what has not been doing well. Let me quickly add SPY to the list. And now, if you go over to, let's take a look at 1 year, right? Past 1 year, which stocks have actually outperformed in the past year? So you'll notice that in the past year, this is coming back from, yeah, it's not going back. Yeah, that's probably because we added these SPACs. That's why they're not going back 1 year. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of delete this one. Alright, so the market is open. I'm going to quickly go over that. Alright, so Apple down a little bit, 0.5%. We got NEO down over 1%. Tesla is down over 2% now, trading as low as $705. Let's take a look at some of these here. So VIX with a spike a little bit. If it creeps back over 20, that's going to be interesting for the volatility on the S&P 500 because we have been trading below that VIX level for a really long time. We got Pfizer up over 0.5%. Nothing's really up that much, right? Everything's really green, really red. Zuhair, that's a great question. Because of the timing, you'll notice that on that chart. If I go back to this chart, you'll notice that cryptos have only been going up for like the last 1 year. So if you go over to 1 year, they've been going up. But if you look at it recently, since like April 13th and 14th, they've been on a decline, right? So if I go over to the past like 5 days, last 5 days, you'll notice what has actually outperformed everything. That's precious metals, right? SPY and QQQ have basically remained flat, and cryptos have actually gone down 5%, right? From highs of over 9% on April 15th. And Coin just recently IPO'd. So this is a more recent trend here that we're looking at for cryptos, and Coinbase is, as a result of that, is also pulling back. So Apple with a morning spike here. Tesla also struggling at around $700. Neo is at close to 36.37. We got the QQQs at 30 basis points. Let's take a look at Netflix. So that's a huge drop on the weekly chart. Let's look at the 1 minute here. So still down a little bit over 8%, close to 8%. Bitcoin still under 56,000 here. And by the way, a lot of some of those tech companies, so Apple and Google, are actually going to be facing the Senate Committee for Antitrust Issues, and I think Amazon is also going to be doing that because of their global taxation, which is very, very interesting. I'll probably cover that during the earnings report, because taxes, we already know corporate taxes, they've been up over 30% for a very long time, and then recently they were cut down to 21%, and now they're projecting out to be over 28% in corporate tax rates. And Amazon being Amazon, the margins are really low, and because of the global taxation, they have really benefited from basically paying next to nothing in taxes. So they're also going to be in that hearing, part of that. So Netflix recovering a little bit, down only 7.5% here, just hovering around that support of $503. Nasdaq really taking a plunge here in the morning. What do you guys think of Tesla? Prior to the earnings, what is the number? And then after the earnings, what's the number? What do you guys think? Dave, I couldn't agree more. AMD's just been giving me a really hard time. It's just been going down, down, and down. I feel so stupid just getting it on AMD. But, again, from all the research that I've personally done, I really find it really hard to believe that AMD should be anywhere under $100, $110 target here. 800 Tesla after earnings. Interesting. $735 before, $810 after. Yeah, 740 is a resistance here for Tesla, right? So 780 is a resistance that we really need to break out over. And again, today you'll notice that we are just, once again, trading with the doji candle. So much indecision here. 700 really needs to hold, you guys. 699, because that's the moving average here. And I'm assuming bulls are going to do everything in their power to make sure that we don't close below the moving averages, right? So yesterday you'll notice that we came all the way down to 690, or the day before, excuse me. We came all the way down to 690 before the bulls stepped in, and we pushed up all the way back over those moving averages, right? And then the following day, the sellers came in and then pushed us all the way down to below 720. So it's kind of like a battle between those two levels. And of course, the bulls want to keep it above 700, above those moving averages, and the bears want to keep us below 720 and as high as 780. So it's kind of like a fight right now for Tesla. Very, very interesting. And it's the same case for NEO too, right? It's just been kind of coiling up inside that channel. It, like literally, like as the earnings come out, this thing, like look at how close we are getting to that move. Like just think about this. It's just getting tighter and tighter with the 21 EMA coming from the top and the 200 SMA coming from the bottom. And then when you take into account the lower highs here, we're just like here, filling in that channel. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. By the way, you guys, if you guys want 2 free stocks with Weebull, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this like a million times on YouTube. But if you guys want 2 free stocks, and if you haven't already, check out the Weebull link down in the description. I've also pinned that on the live chat. 2 free stocks if you deposit up to $100. The 2 free stocks will be worth up to $1,850 each. Could be worth up to that much. So it's free money. All right, so let's take a look at Netflix, bouncing off a little bit more, 509. I feel like it's going to be more of a consolidation type of day. Again, the markets are mixed here. QQQ is not really going anywhere just yet. What's going on with Coin here? Guys, hold on 1 second. All right, so what's Tesla? Go away for like a couple seconds here. All right, let's take a look at Coin very quickly. Wow, what a drop, down over 3%. Yeah, I mean, you guys know what my buy point is. We already covered it in our fundamental analysis. Anything under 300 is like my sweet spot for Coin. I think it has to do a lot with cryptos. Like if you look at Bitcoin, down a little bit over 1.5%. Ethereum is up 1.7%. But yeah, some of those crypto stocks also getting hit hard again. Like Mara, for example, is down over 5%. We got Riot down close to 3.7%. So yeah, Coin, I mean, what do you guys think about Coinbase? Would love to know what you guys think in terms of valuations, in terms of the price, in terms of its future, the revenue drivers, everything. I would love to know that. Coinbase overpriced, hyped. Bought coin at 338. That's not a bad price in my opinion. You know, over the long term, it really comes down to what the conviction is for cryptos. So that's the big question that you need to answer, is whether crypto is going to continue or whether we're going to see a little bit of a pullback, or because it's going to be volatile regardless, right? It's going to be very volatile in nature. So that's the big question that we need to ask ourselves, is that, well, whether we are going to see cryptos rally or if we're going to see them pull back a little bit. And another thing is how Coinbase is going to be able to kind of diversify some of their holdings, right? Wow, taking a little bit of a breather here. All right, let's take a look at, so Tesla, oof. You guys, what is going on? The last few days, it's just been... Alright, let's see what's actually going up. We've got GameStop, we got AMC, we got CVS, AMD, Nvidia a little bit. We got Twitter, that's up barely. Palantir's down, of course. Why wouldn't it be? Just signed a new deal, a new contract. Great news. Stock has to go down. Just being sarcastic, by the way. Visa, Procter & Gamble, Qualcomm, DraftKings, J&J, Amazon taking a breather here too, down. All right, let's go back to Tesla here. I'm going to put up NEO also pulling back, 36.25. All right, let's go over to the one-day chart first to understand what's going up. So energy sector picked up from the bottom here. So I'm assuming some of those energy stocks are up. Well, not really, but they are pushing. Because I know they were down a lot more than that. So tech's been pulling back, of course. We've got energy that's been the biggest sort of like, it's been selling off pre-market, and we've seen the biggest jump in energy. So let's take a look at Chevron here very quickly. So there we go, right? So that's what we're seeing. Chevron push higher. ExxonMobil is probably on the same trajectory here. There we go. Pushing higher. Let's take a look at oil prices. US oil, wow. All right, so it's making some type of a recovery here. That's what we're seeing, right? That's the big driver for these energy stocks. So Chevron just turned green, and this is crude oil. Also, when are you launching your IPO? Soon. No, I've got not yet. But that is like way down the line. So crude oil also pushing higher. And again, once we go back to this chart, it gives us a really good understanding, you guys. So this is a chart that I've shared with everybody on Patreon. You can go over to different time frames, and it will tell you exactly, this is like a money flow chart. It tells us, where the money is going to and where it's coming out of. It tells you which sectors are going up, which ones are going down. Again, in real time. So this is like changing by the second as we are getting more and more data that comes out. So why are solar stocks taking such a big hit? So let's take a look at some solar stocks here. So if you guys want to add some solar stocks. By the way, I removed the SPACs from this chart because they haven't been around long enough for us to really understand different time frames. So if you go over to year to date, right? Just for illustrative purposes here, year to date, cryptos still up over 86%. Bitcoin and Ethereum combined, 86%. Yields up over 70%. Energy financials still leading the pack for the S&P 500, up over 23 and almost 20% here. We got SPY, QQQ, the regular broader market indices. In the green, SPY outperforming the NASDAQ, up over 11.69%, which is why I also put out a video going over, well, tech underperformed in 2021. Make sure that you guys watch that video. We got precious metals that are down close to 8%, so gold and silver have been down. And then we got EVs. Look at EVs. NEO, Tesla, XPeng, BYD, Fisker, ChargePoint down over 11% combined. And then some of those other stocks that you guys mentioned, we got GOEV, we got Plug Power, NNDM, BNGO, and MP Materials down over 20% year to date. But story changes. The story completely changes if you go back 1 year, right? If you click on 1 year, you'll notice which sector has actually outperformed once again, and it's cryptos. In the past, 1 year coming in, this chart is coming from like April 2020. The yields, they did push up, they came back down, and they're just starting to push up once again. And then some of those other stocks you guys mentioned, like Plug Power, NNDM, BNGO, MP Materials, up over 147% in the last 1 year. EVs, look at EVs. So these two sectors that were in the red year to date, so these two right here that we just talked about and looked at. So those two sectors, like EVs and small caps, EVs up over 66%, and small caps are up over 147%. I know this is not a great representation. There's only taking a small data set, only 4 or 5 companies, but still gives us a good representation on what the sentiment looks like now. And then we got QQQ up over 63%, outperforming the SPY, which was up over 50% here. Financials up over 62%. And then energy up over 45%, and gold and silver, so precious metals, only up over 6.7%. So we looked at the 1 year. We looked at the year to date. Let's look at the last 3 months. So last 3 months, you'll notice the picture completely changes. And this is what I love about these charts, is that you'll be able to see it. And crypto is still outperforming in the last 3 months. So Bitcoin and Ethereum, they've just been on a rally here. The 10-year yield is up over 10%, 40%. Financials, energy now outperforming everything else when it comes to equities. Financials, energies. SPY up over 7, QQQ only up over 2.8, gold and silver. Again, EVs and small caps down over 22% and 46% respectively. So Tesla back over 700. Interesting. Enphase down, Solar Edge is down. Enphase, I have done some research on Enphase. I've done actually quite extensive research on Enphase. The stock is right now, in my opinion, has a lot of potential in the future. Like, they're profitable, they're growing their revenues in double digits. Solar is going to be big piece of the infrastructure plan. I would have to look into Solar Edge and Jink Solar a little bit more, because I'm not too sure exactly on what their financials look like and what their valuation looks like. But Enphase, in my opinion, is a strong business. It's just, and again, you know, somebody commented in one of my NEO videos basically saying that if NEO doesn't go up on earnings, you know, I'm gonna close out that position, because I'm not gonna hold NEO if it's not gonna do anything. I've been holding it for 4 months, right? That's what they mentioned, and you know, it was a great comment, and I really respect that decision if they're making that. But in my opinion, you know, 4 months is nothing when it comes to a holding period, right? 4 months is nothing, and if with every earnings report, regardless of what the stock does, don't look at the stock, look at the earnings report and really understand whether they're still growing or whether they're showing signs of concern and a sort of like a business that potentially has future threat of competition, whatever the case is, right? Try to understand the earnings report first, the fundamentals, and then worry about the stock price, because they're not the same thing, right? We've seen a lot of great companies not do anything for years, and I'm talking decades here. Like, Tesla didn't do anything for 5 years before pushing up 1,000%. Amazon did not do anything for close to 8 years before pushing up over, I think, 9,000%. Same thing with Microsoft, didn't do anything for 12 years before pushing up 800%. So, and during that time period, their business was growing. There were positive catalysts that were not getting discounting the right way in the prices. So companies could be doing great, and prices may or may not reflect that, right? That's just the markets. And I feel like NEO right now, it's the same thing. But same with Palantir. And those are two companies that are coming out with great projections, great catalysts. Like, almost every day we feel like we get some news that's like positive about the company. They're expanding, they're growing, they're signing new deals, they're doing new contracts, and you know, still, like, the market just doesn't want to discount that right now. And it's just the state of the market right now, right? When that changes, you know, you never know. We could see a run up for these companies as well, like we saw with Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon. Those were great companies. Yep, so QQQ is recovering. Tesla is back over 705, and Apple is up a little bit over 70, down over 77 basis points, but we are seeing a little bit of a recovery here. And NEO is down over 1.3%, so we're seeing some recovery. All right, so Nordstrom is the one that's up the most, 3%. We got VIX, of course, spiking a little bit. We got, let's take a look at Doge, so 32 cents. Up over 1.65%. But it's trading below that moving average. Let me take a look. What moving average is that? Is it the 5? All right, let's change that to 21. Yep, 21 is going to be a huge divergence there. All right, let's keep that to 9. I'm going to add one more. All right, so I'm going to add 5 because we have been validating that level for some time, and then I'll have the 9 over here for Dogecoin. AMD up over 1.4%, so we're getting a little bit of a push higher for advanced micro devices here. Made a U-turn. What did, Jason? Harry, what's going on? Welcome on board. I love your comments. A very detailed, great analysis. Always appreciate your research. Thank you for joining. So AMD back over $80. We got Microvision up over 1.45% as well. All right, so let's take a look here. Pfizer is up over 1.2. Southwest. When are they reporting? Did Southwest already report? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. All right, so these are some of the trades from Kathy Woods that I'm going to break down very quickly. So we're going to switch over to this screen. You guys can still see this, right? I just want to make sure that you guys can see this still. All right, so let's take a look. So Tuesday snapped another 236,000 shares of Coinbase. She's just going all in on Coinbase here. So they bought 184,000 shares of cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase here, and representing 2.6% of the ETF. All right, let's take a look at what else they bought. So the firm also sold a total of almost 32,000 shares of Nvidia. You know, that makes sense because Nvidia is already trading at near all-time highs, like 600 and I think it was like 648, 650. That was crazy. You guys can see the screen, right? I just want to make sure that you guys can see the screen. The firm also bought 1.1 million shares of Palantir, estimated roughly $25 million on Tuesday's closing at 21.78. I really wonder what their average is on Palantir now. Like, I really wonder what their average looks like on Palantir stock, like average cost basis, because they've just been buying up every single dip. Like, I feel like if you were to look at some of the level 2, like the bids and the asks, I feel like they always have an order ready at around like this 21, 22 level where Palantir has been like kind of hovering around. I think they also bought DraftKings. All right, so other Ark buys on Tuesday. This is a good representation here. So they bought Open Doors. I'm not sure which one this is. Beam Therapeutics, Workhorse. They actually bought Workhorse too. So they have been buying Workhorse lately after the sell-off. There's definitely some value there, in my opinion, for Workhorse. Let me know what you guys think. They bought Roblox. They've got Peloton. Wow. By the way, what did you guys think about Peloton's report? I read like the government safety government commission basically said, you know, treadmills are, you know, not safe anymore. I still have to go through that report because I haven't done a video on Peloton ever. Okta is a good one actually. Cybersecurity space, two-factor authentication. You know, a lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses are going to be using that from Okta. And Ping Identity is also another one that we've covered on the channel, although they both have been kind of getting beat hard because of the market sell-off. So they also bought DraftKings, right? So the investment firm also bought over 500,000 shares of DraftKings. DraftKings, guys, I'm going to bring that back. Let's take a look. Oh. So DraftKings, we're going to go over very quickly. So DraftKings is actually a good stock to look into, in my opinion, right now. Ooh, look at that. Tesla up over $708. We got NEO recovering back to over $36.80. We got Apple. Down over 65 basis points, and then QQQ recovering strongly as well. But let's take a look at DraftKings here. It's going to be chart 2. I don't think this has my analysis yet. No. Alright, this one is the one. DraftKings, one of the things that we talked about is the head and shoulders pattern for the stock, right? So, well, this one doesn't have my analysis either. Is it this one? Alright, yeah, so it's going to be this one. So one of the things that we talked about is the head and shoulders pattern for DraftKings. So the higher lows are still getting validated here for the company. So actually this should be much further in. There we go. So we're just validating that support here. We validated that support here. And this right here was the head and shoulders pattern for DraftKings, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We're seeing a breakdown below the neckline, below $58 level. If it does retrace down to 45, 44, although it's a very small probability that we're going to see a drawdown that low, I will be loading up at that level, personally, for DraftKings. Recently signed partnership with NFL. They got a huge shot at the New York approval. I think there's like FanDuel, DraftKings, a couple other companies that are also fighting for that New York approval. So the collaboration will allow fans to wager on PFL fights via DraftKings pending regulatory approvals. So I mean, eventually, I feel like there's going to be a lot of approvals in general, right? So all right, take a look at love the content. Do you think NIO will run up before earnings? That's a great question. All right, look at Tesla, by the way. Look at Tesla, 698, validating that moving average before the buyers kind of stepped in. Very important for us to see whether we close above the moving averages or we see a breakdown, right? That's the big piece here, is that we need to understand whether 690, 695, 698, like those levels, like moving averages, are going to hold. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you guys. Interesting, right? Yeah. Lucas, I will definitely look into Voyager for you. Just give me 1 second. So Tesla, that's the level that we need to watch. For NIO, going over for the question that Ravens asked, this right here is a channel that we're filling, right? So we're just like right there. Like the short interest has been going up, the volume's been going up a little bit, and we're just continuing to fill in this channel. In my opinion, the 200 is simple moving average, the 200 SMA, the pink line you guys see on the chart. If you look at the priority ladder in which moving averages from a technical standpoint make much more of an influence on the price, it's the 200 SMA. Like that's kind of looked at as the godfather moving average, like, because this is very important. You're looking at 200 daily simple average prices and you're kind of averaging them out. Versus the 21 EMA is only the near term trend, right? It's the 21 day prices and you're kind of averaging them out on an exponential basis. So if it's between these two, my money's on the 200 SMA. But then you also have to understand the descending triangle that we're forming, right? The sellers are in control and we're just putting in lower highs. So that is weakness in itself. So it really begs the question, which, it's one of those things, it's like a 50-50 shot here, unfortunately for NIO, and there's no clear answer. We're up close to 9 basis points, so we're in the green, so that's great. But again, when it comes to this pattern, a breakout over 3850, this level is the most important level that NIO needs to break out over. The 21 EMA you'll see sits perfectly at 3847. So that's the level I would watch very closely prior to the earnings. Alright, so NASDAQ, look at that. QQQ up over, flat now, but we're still making a great recovery here. Apple pushing higher. Tesla down over 1.3% still, but we're still kind of bouncing off of 698. NIO just turned green. Let's take a look at the markets here. Alright, so Shopify is up over 1%, struggling around that 1140 level. We got Baidu, LABU, Twitter, Enphase. Enphase has been hovering around 150 as well. We got Nvidia up over 88 basis points after the sell-off yesterday. Is AMD red again? Okay, AMD is right over here, up over 1.4%. All right, so that's good. In terms of companies that are red, so we got Tesla, Spotify, Tattooed Chef. Actually, I just added this stock to my watch list because people have been talking about this one as well on the Discord, and I'm going to be doing some research on them, actually, and I'll be doing a technical analysis as well to really understand what the business proposition looks like, the valuation, the fundamentals, what the growth story is behind this company, because this stock has been down, like it's been down a lot, right? So if you go over here, let's take a look at how much it's down. So Tattooed Chef, I think it had a huge drop the other day. This right here was a drawdown, 11% drop, and then a 3% drop. So definitely, I mean, So I'll be doing some more research on them. A lot of volume that kind of kicked in, so that's interesting to know. All right, let's go over to Voyager very quickly. What is the symbol? I think it's this one, right? Voyager Digital. Down over 2.3 per second. Ooh. They just broke down below the moving averages, so they have been going up. And I can already tell you, there was a negative divergence forming. I can confidently tell you, without even looking at the RSI just yet, that there was potentially a negative divergence. All right, there we go. So this right here was a higher high. You know, of course, we were just pushing higher, while the relative strength index was making this lower high, right? So this sell-off is normal, and it's also, I'm assuming it's a Bitcoin stock here. It's related to, all right, so development and commercialization of digital platform focuses on enabling users to buy and sell digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, right? So very dependent on cryptos, but we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown here from those moving averages. So that's the last thing that we want for any stock that's in an uptrend like we have seen, to break down below the moving averages. Same thing happened with Tesla. It took us months to break out over those moving averages. NEO is still in that downtrending channel. So that's the only cause for concern I have, like in the near term for Voyager, is that the RSI is coming down aggressively. The MACD just sold off aggressively. We were seeing a negative divergence as it is. So the next support to watch, Lucas, is going to be right around here, in my opinion. If we do come down to that low, it's going to be $10.70. So that's about, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Because right now I feel like we're also making some type of lower lows, right? So we're not going as high as we did the previous time. So that's a little bit of a sign for weakness, but double validation of that support here. Double validation of that support here. So a couple of times we kind of bounced off of that support, and then we started making higher highs. Negative divergence resulted in a sell-off below the moving averages. So yeah, keep a close eye at the next resistance, which is going to be roughly at $19. We're going to get some pressure from those moving averages here. And the support, the stronger support in my opinion, is going to be sitting right here at close to 1070. If you do see a more persistent sell-off in cryptos, right? Because again, this is more of a derivative, trading off of an asset price of another crypto, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, so on and so forth. Even Coinbase, and that's one of the takeaways from Coinbase as well, is that you look at Coinbase and it's going to be trading off of the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum. The trading volumes are going to make more of an effect on Coinbase's price. Let's take a look at where it's trading now, if it's still down that much. It's recovering a little bit. So this right here, we're kind of like some of the support and resistance that was initially that I was like looking at for Coinbase. We're seeing a little bit of a breakdown here. We'll see if we close above 315. That's the support to watch, like at least today. And right now the RSI, the MACD, like they're just starting to form. Like, so we can't really go over, you know, what that looks like. All right, so let's take a look at this broader market. So we got XLB, which is going to be, I believe, materials. Yep. So we got materials pushing up over 90 basis points intraday. Then we got consumer staples, industrials. We got healthcare. Technology is pulling back a little bit. Consumers. This right here is going to be discretionary. Communication services. So XLC down here, communication services and utilities, two sectors kind of lagging behind. And these sectors pushing up really, energy now positive on the day. So this, I like to call it the horse race, really, when the day starts and then we find out which sectors are really doing well and which ones are not. And then we kind of learn as we kind of go through the day. But SPY is now up over 26 basis points here. The NEO is up over 58 basis points here. Tesla also trying to break out over 720. Yeah, so 720 is the next resistance for Tesla. Let's see if there's anything going on at Bloomberg. If there's anything that we can listen to. There's not really much going on in terms of the macros. There's mostly like earnings that we need to understand, that we need to look at. Oh, hey, Cast WRP. What's happening? Guys, please don't message this person on WhatsApp. This is hilarious. I'm going to take a quick Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Make sure that you guys drop a like. It really means the world. Helps out the channel in a tremendous way. Subscribe if you haven't already. We talk a lot about the fundamentals, financials, technicals, valuations, macros, fiscal, monetary policy, like you name it. Everything about the markets. The US equities, more specifically, we cover. Cryptos, trying to get into it more because I know there's a lot of demand for it. So we'll do some technical analysis on them as well moving forward. Precious metals as well, a little bit. Gold and silver, I know that a lot of people would be interested in that. Alright, what stocks are we looking at today, guys? I know, a scammer even in the chat. Kenneth, thank you so much, I appreciate that. What's your take on Upstart? Alright, let's take a look. Right, so let's take a look at the income statement annually. So I like the growth. They've been growing their revenues consistently for the last 4 years. Net income just turned positive. Very, very strong there. Balance sheet looks great. Statistics, let's take a look. So they're trading at, so there's no price to sales. That's interesting. No PE ratio just yet. Solvency ratios look good. Current ratio looks good. This is an interesting one, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to my watch list. Thanks for bringing that to my attention here. Alright, I'll do a little bit of a deep dive on this. But I need to really understand what the drawdown has been, like close to 46% because of... Alright, follow on... So offering of a 2 million share, additional 300,000 shares sold pursuant to underwriters. Price at $120 per share. Where is it trading now? Close to 97. So, I mean, right now it's approaching some type of a support here. It's not quite there yet, but this is the trend line. And it looks like it's been very recent IPO, like in December. So the moving averages are not yet quite formed. The 21 should already be there. Let's take a look. So, yep. Alright, yeah, so we're now trading almost below the moving averages, so that right there is going to be the next support level to watch, at least in the near term for Upstart. And that's also going to be kind of aligned with this previous resistance here. So a previous resistance that we got rejected before a huge gap up, I'm assuming after the earnings, and then a little bit of a drawdown here. So that right there is going to be the next sort of support to watch, at least in the near term, and I'll do some deep dives on this to understand what the fundamentals, evaluations, everything else looks like. All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks here. So NEO up over 15 basis points. We got Tesla up over 1.3. QQQ is up over, Tesla is down actually, 1.39%. QQQ still struggling a little bit. Apple is also down. Let's take a look at Palantir and how is that stock doing. Palantir now up over 1.6%. What? No way. How is that possible? No, that this is not right. This is how? Every time they have great news, they always have sold off. It's just interesting. All right, let's take a look at some other ones. Carnival is up after the bloodbath yesterday. I think it was down like close to 4%, 5% yesterday. Yes, it was down over 4.35% yesterday. Fiverr back over 200. This is also a stock that we talked about in one of our recent videos. Keep a close eye on this one because it has a lot of potential in the future. All right, Voyager is short squeezing right now. Let's take a look. Coinbase still kind of hovering around 312, down over 2.7. Ooh, look at that. Up over 2.5% here. What is the short interest on Voyager? Does anybody know? Neo we just looked at. I'll go over that in just a second as well, but we're going to quickly go over, take a look at what the short interest looks like on Voyager here. See if we can find that. Nope, this one. So they don't have short interest here. That could be because of, let's take a look at cryptos. That's interesting. But it definitely is pushing up over 3.37%. Let's take a look at Open Door. Ooh, look at that, up over 5.29. A lot of volume kicking in. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, keep a close eye on those moving averages, like at close to, I want to say $19 and 21.86. Those are going to be the two resistance levels here. But yeah, where were we? So let's take a look at Mara. Some crypto stocks here very quickly. So materials, tech actually pushing up a little bit. Up with materials here, and we got communication services, utilities still kind of struggling, trending down. And we're seeing that divergence away from these sectors versus this one. Ooh, we saw utilities push up a little bit. And now consumer staples, or communication service, excuse me, XLC is the only one that's kind of struggling a little bit. Palantir up over 2%. Look at Neo, up over 0.5% here, 65 basis points. Tesla also trying to break out over 710. Let's look at Mara. Down over 1.5, but it's trending up, so it's making higher highs, higher lows, trading in between the middle and the top VWAP here. So definitely signs of progress. And we've got AMD up close to 2%. And Palantir also pushing higher, so that's good. Great signs. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to end the live stream here, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think we're going to do this, try to do this like almost every other day. We've also got the private live streams over at our Patreon. We do them at least once a month, where I break down about 30-35 stocks from all the Patreon members that they comment. You'll also get access to all these charts, so we've got 5 of them so far. I'll be updating all of them on May 1st. I think I'll be including like a couple more. Charts like these will also be included with these select sector indices. We won't go red, trust me, like we won't go red. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel in a tremendous way. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out the Patreon link down in the description below. And if you guys want 2 free stocks, just keep a photo of yourself or something to keep the stream going. If you guys want 2 free stocks again, right? So from Weebull, deposit $100 and you'll get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850. That's like free money. I know that a couple people have gotten that, and they are very valuable in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be putting out the daily market updates, the 12 stocks, the tech stocks, growth stocks, Tesla, NIO, Palantir, AMD. We'll be covering all of those. We'll be covering macros as well moving forward. I know I've been kind of stalling on that, but I will be putting out a video on taxations, inflation, moving forward, and everything that we need to look out for from a macro level standpoint. To give you guys a very quick update here, QQQ, that's the NASDAQ, up, down just about 20 basis points. We're seeing a little bit of a recovery here. Palantir's up over 1.6%. We got the SPY in the green, up over 26 basis points. So we're still seeing that divergence a little bit, where the NASDAQ continues to underperform the S&P. The NIO is back in the red slightly, down over 14 basis points, and Tesla is just trying to stay above $700 per share. So that right there is going to be the support, kind of like the moving averages there. And NIO is once again kind of trading inside this descending triangle, waiting to see a bigger move. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. As always, happy investing, and I will see you guys in the next video.